Welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Laure, joined by Trouble Inc. and Astralis' mid laner, Dajor. Thank you so much for sticking around. Nice hair, I have to say.
Thank you, thank you.
Matching the style. Were you the one suggesting it? I don't remember, but yeah.
No,
Thanks for playing along. Thanks for playing along.
He gave me a side look. If you saw it, you were like, were you the one suggesting? I was like, it was her.
Well, still, thanks for playing along and thanks for sticking around also. We'll talk about your game later, but first, you watched the G2 Mad game with us. What did you think of it? I mean, it was a done game and then Mad started fighting back. Did you think they could win it?
I think he got a nice lead on top lane, right? I think also the draft was interesting that they got Trundle on 4 and Wukong on 4. Normally it's like kind of first pick, I think. But after the top lane, he got 2 kills.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the matchup goes, but I think if you pick Jax into Gwen, then it's probably Jax favored.
Yeah.
So he kind of did a comeback.
That's the thing. I mean, it was a counter pick, and usually Jax can go in Gwen's zone. So yeah, Trouble, I'll let you go. You're the expert, but as Dajor said,
the matchup is extremely Jax favored. This is why Jax is also picked into Gwen. Very well said, Dajor. But I think this was a very mad game. It was in their hands until it wasn't. And we have been highlighting this the entire season, how Mad are really good at getting these early game advantages. Niski on that Aliyah is an absolute madman. He had 100% kill participation for most of this game. And then Mad does what Mad always does. Pushes that top lane tier 2 and throws their lead. And once that composition from G2 comes online, once all these shutdowns and gold has gone onto the Draven, it's just so difficult. You saw most of these fights. Unforgiven was trying to 1v3, 1 versus 4. But yes, Aphila's 200, 400, 600 years of experience, really difficult to 1v5.
And that is what we've said, Dajor, before the game, the fact that it's going to be super about bot lane. It was about bot lane even before the game started with all the banter we got on social media. But yeah, kudos on FLICKR for picking Draven into Unforgiven. First pick also. That says a lot about the champion.
They banned the Kalista, right?
Yeah,
and then they picked away the Draven, so it's pretty smart because you don't want Unforgiven on Draven or Kalista, so that was a good take on it.
Yeah, really good game from them. And also, Jankos got the key player of the game here, Trouble. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I think Jankos hasn't had the highlight that he has deserved this season because a lot of the ups and downs that happen in G2 kind of hinder his early game aggression, the way that he wants to play the game. But he played an absolute pivotal part. I think his pillars were extremely insane to catch people off guard, to force flashes, get summers, and then create more fights to come.
What do you make of G2? This splits, because yeah, I mean, they didn't come strong. They're starting to come back now. It feels like spring, but does it really?
I think, of course, they got crit by MSI, right? And they beat us in the first game. I think it was close, but I think they stopped improving a little bit.
Okay.
But I think they were way better in spring. I think they're still good now, but way better in spring. But I think they can still play for Worlds, of course. They are still really good.
How do you explain that, though? Is it more individual performance or meta read? Because it feels like, especially in summer, in the last weeks, teams have a hard time grasping the meta.
Yeah, not quite sure. In the beginning, they didn't have time to read the meta.
Yeah.
So maybe that's snowballed into more problems. You don't know what are the real problems from a team, but you can see the Ari is still meta. You see caps on Ari, and you know that from spring he's really good, right, on Ari. So I think they know what the meta is.
They know what the meta is, and with this win, Trouble, they lock in playoffs. So maybe we'll have to see a G2 like in spring popping off in playoffs, because we entered this week, and today especially, everyone being tied with each other, and now we have 4 teams locked in playoff finally, with G2 joining now.
Yeah, and I think we have the usual suspects already logged in, the Rogues, the Mads, the G2s. The only one that's gotten away so far from this login phase has been Fnatic, who are sitting now not very comfortably on that 6th place. But I'm not going to say that I'm surprised that G2 made it. G2 literally made the craziest lower bracket run in playoffs in spring, and it would be a surprise if they didn't actually make it.
Yeah, it was expected from them. It was also expected for Vitality, maybe, today, one of the disappointing games from them.
Yeah, it was in their hand again until it wasn't. And it's really sad when you're really fighting for this playoff spots. As you can see, Vitality right there. Still very, very close to making it 94 points. I can't see that far away, but I think that's what it says. Remaining of scenarios where at least they make a tiebreaker for playoffs, right? So, again, also for them, the super team that didn't do so well in spring coming into summer would be disappointing if they didn't make it.
Yeah, I think they look better also. They are. Vitality, when you think about the improvements, bringing Haru in also.
Yeah, for sure. Vitality is looking much better than in spring. Of course, again, you can't say what was wrong in spring, but you for sure can see they have an identity as well right now, and they just play way much better together.
They do.
And if Kazi is holding back a little bit on bot lane, and if he's not dying 10 times, you know, then
throwing in the fire.
They have a good chance.
I don't know, man. AD carries, am I right?
Yeah, AD carries. They always go through the limits. Yeah.
No, but back to the playoff race a bit, because that's the topic this week. As also is 80s week. I think 80s week or 80s day. I think it's just today.
80s day.
All right, let's enjoy it then. But yeah, back to the playoff race. It's enjoyable from a viewer standpoint, maybe not so much from a player standpoint. They are telling me about the standings as we came in today, but also talking about the chances for Astralis moving on next.
Yeah, I have to say that today losing against Fnatic is of course a little neck breaker.
Yeah.
We saw the chances for Astralis right now, 8% or something.
8.6%.
Yeah,
8.6, yeah. But
yeah, that's it.
I think just don't look at the numbers. We will try our best to win the next 2 games, and we will see from that what happens.
I mean, that's what it is. Don't look at the numbers. I remember SK last week, Gilius also in the interview, who was like, just win games. And they came in today with a banger draft against Vitality, came in clutch. So yeah, I want to say 8.6. You have, who do you have next? You have Excel and you have Mad Lions tomorrow. Let's say you don't lose any games, but you would be allowed to lose one. But yeah, how do you think about the playoff race and the next games for you guys?
I think tomorrow, Vitality lost today, right?
Yeah.
So it's good for us. They're a little bit broken now. I think we can beat Vitality for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And wait, Vitality?
No,
I'm not playing against Vitality.
Mad and Excel.
Wait,
Mad Lions, Excel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad also lost today.
Mad lost today. Yeah.
Mad Lions tomorrow, Excel on Sunday.
Yeah. So Mad lost. That's good for us, right? And I think against Mad, we will just. Let's hope they are running into us again, like they did to last time as well on the T2. They entered really hard.
Oh my god, it was against Astralis when they did it again. Okay, perfect.
And today they did the same against G2 and Excel. I think I'm not sure. Just
it's
play
hard
normal.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Excel is hard to say, but we will see what happens.
What do we make of Excel? Trouble. Falling down so much for the past weeks.
I just literally deflated when you asked me about Excel because I was so happy seeing them at the very early of the split, and I feel right now they're kind of like stuck into their own wall. It feels like their drafts do favor them, but then if they fall behind, they try the same thing over and over and over again, that it fails so many times that you just keep digging your own hole, and it doesn't seem like it's working for them. Again, the support jungle synergy is not there as it was at the very early stages of the split, and unless they can fix it for the last 2 games, it's looking pretty dire.
I mean, copying other teams' homework can be something that works also. I'm looking at you two here.
We're going back to that?
We're going back to that.
Okay, so I brought up, because last Saturday you guys picked on Twitch Renata. You were the first game of the day. You were technically the underdogs in your game as well, and you managed to pull out a really impressive victory. Then BDS come in, Misfits come in, and they're like, hold on a second, these guys did pretty well in that game.
Yeah.
Let's go on Twitch Renata as well.
But I think it's also really fitting our playstyle. Mia on Silas, I just like to do the plays, right? And we have a tank on top. We know, or everyone knows, that our strong side is on bot, right? So a tank on top that's also really good right now is just really nice to have in our team. And then Twitch, Renata, good comp also with the Silas, Renata, really good together. And I mean, in that game, it was mostly Akali. They picked Akali, I don't know why, but yeah. That was, I think it just fits us, right?
Staying on the meta topic, it feels like, especially on the mid lane, it shifted a bit recently. Mage is not working so much. Talia coming in clutch. We see Assassins coming again. Sometimes people play Akali.
Yeah, especially LeBlanc, right?
Yeah.
Some players are favored of that. For example, Zertos plays a lot of LeBlanc. Today, Wait, who?
I'll find the drafts. You can.
No,
you can.
who was my mid
Pretty
laner?
sure
Humanoid
Pretty sure
played,
Caps played LeBlanc as well.
Caps also played LeBlanc. Humanoid played
Humanoid
No,
played
sorry,
LeBlanc.
Caps played Ari.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
I think LeBlanc was the most like hit by the patch in a positive way, and that was that's good for the mid laners that played, right?
Yeah. Do you think it's favoring you as a mid laner also? I mean, I know with the recent changes you would also play Vex. It's super good in some matchup.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Silas, for instance, was banned today, unfortunately. But yeah, what's your take on the meta and how it's going to help Astralis get through?
I think the meta right now in mid lane, if you want to take advantage from the picks, you have to ban at least 1 or 2 champions if you
Yeah.
want to take advantage. Else, it's just a trade. For example, Talia, in the last game we saw Mad Lions vs G2, Talia and Ari is a trade you see often. So against us today, Fnatic, they picked on 3, right? And banned Vex, Lissandra.
Yeah.
Good, 2 good counters. And we were kind of prepared for it with the Karma, but if you want to take advantage, you need to ban at least 1 or 2 champs.
Off topic, but still, during the draft you were hovering Katarina, and I know that standing next to you, I'm sitting next to you, there's a Katarina lover, not to say OTP. Does it have to do something?
Yeah, does it?
I think so. Okay, I got told that we will be healthy if I hovered it. Okay, I had to because I want my
Do you
players to
feel
be healthy.
healthy?
I feel very healthy.
There you go, it worked.
I mean,
Nice
after the
buff.
game, not too healthy anymore. I got destroyed a little bit, but yeah, that was the main
Moonstone
reason.
didn't heal you enough?
Oh.
Next question.
There's not a lot of Karma enjoyers, honestly, but yeah, I have to say that the Moonstone kind of tilted trouble, but maybe enlighten us.
Moonstone? What else can I? You want me to go Imperial Mandate or?
Actually, let's go on the other side. Enlighten us on why Moonstone is good
Yeah.
on Karma.
This game, I saw that they are poking a lot with the LeBlanc and Nami buff on the LeBlanc. So I didn't really look at the numbers after the game, how much my Moonstone healed, but I think it did some healing at least because they were poking a lot, right? But I can also see where you go Imperial Mandate and just go all in instantly before they can poke. But I think you can build both this game.
Yeah, it's just a matter of choice on the moment. But yeah, staying on the topic of drafts and meta and everything, we know that when it comes to training and scrims and scrim blocks, usually you will have, generally you would have the top of the standings screaming each other, and then the lower part of the brackets screaming each other, and also ERL teams. Does that apply, would you say? And how different are the games going to be when it comes to picks? Because sometimes you would train against a team, and then you show up on stage against a superior team, and they don't play the same thing. So how do you prepare, and how do you manage all this?
You said that the top teams are screaming each other and the bottom teams. Right now, it's kind of
Yeah, it must
the
be
scoreboard
mixed.
is really mixed. But I have to say that today we got a little bit surprised as well in draft. So there's for sure these scrim bubbles of these teams and these teams. So it's kind of hard to predict what the enemy will do. We had our predictions. It kind of went not like our way, but it's very hard to tell what the enemy will pick.
Must be hard trouble when you're not used to being in the same bubble. And then I was talking to Freddie also earlier. He was saying that scrims often can end up being fake data because of that. So yeah.
A lot of the times, a lot of teams will try different things, and then you fall into the trap of thinking, oh, this is exactly what they want to play. Maybe they'll bring it out on stage. You know, you suddenly see Assassins, you're like, maybe Assassins are back in the meta, and then you pick them in your next scrim. And until you realize what actually fits your team, what's in the meta has changed also so much this season with the durability, with the changes on the towers, 12.14 hitting, and all the top lanes have been shuffled. I think it's a continuous change, and if you don't end up on the right screen bubble that is very quick on adapting to the meta, you're kind of screwed in like trying to keep up.
Yeah, and it's best of ones again, so it's super hard to pick it back up. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was about to say that SK also, they picked Darius and Yasuo bot as well. So that was probably surprising for the enemy as well. So you can clearly see that there are like some scrim bubbles, and it's hard to tell what the enemy is going to pick.
Unpredictable. And this is something you want to do, especially in a last week like this where everything is on the line and you want to look in this playoff spot. So let's check out the games we're going to have tomorrow, and where Astralis face off against Mad Lions in a crucial matchup. We said it, you can't lose games anymore. Not to put any pressure on this, but
it's okay.
No, mostly to say how how do you feel about bouncing back from today?
Like I said, I think today Fnatic also played really well, right? And I think we made some major mistakes, but it was like only 1 or 2 major mistakes. And just say Fnatic played a really good game today. We don't look further into that, and we will just try our best tomorrow. And we will not think about what happened yesterday. You always look in the future.
Moving forward.
Exactly, and we will take it from there.
Do you feel like being back on stage is buffing you in a bit? Because I know you've been very vocal on Twitter about being back, having the fans and the stage buff. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Our scrims as well from online, right? But we played from apartments because we had COVID. It's really a debuff, I have to say, for us especially. Because being back on stage now is really nice, I have to say. Even though we took the loss today, but I think we also played a solid game. Fnatic was just better today, but it's for sure nice to be back on stage.
Yeah, we'll have another day tomorrow. And on the topic of Fnatic, they will play Vitality tomorrow. Vitality lock in playoffs with a single win against them. Can they make it through? Trouble.
I think it's going to be a very difficult one because Fnatic have been on a slump, but today they did manage to pick up the victory, and the Vitality were winning until they weren't today. So I think it's again going to be a very 50-50 match. You will see in the standings also they're one after the other. They got the last 2 spots as of right now, as of today, and this could change very well easily tomorrow.
It is super tense. It is super tense. And yeah, looking forward to the race of playoff for tomorrow. Also, Dajor, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was your first PGL, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sticking around in 80s theme, which is also why we need to take a PGL selfie for the begging wig that you have on right now. I don't know if I'm supposed to do it now, but I will. All right. Is there like an 80s sign? Okay, this one? Okay, let's do that. All right. Well, thank you. Nice. Trouble, as always, thank you so much. And that was all for us here tonight. But make sure to stay tuned for the LCS and the start of their Super Week. We will be back tomorrow for more action in the LEC. See you then.
So mid and jungle is the questions for me now.
So the biggest... Oh, here we go! Get over here! Yeah, it turns out when you have to start QSS, you're not exactly going to be the tankiest. The catfish, and there he goes, Dansora!
Nuclear end! Dansora finds the
push through it, cleanse through it, no limits you can do.
Let's just think all finds the knockup!
Just take it, you're on the edge of infinity.
For the treat! Gets the knockup! They've done it! They've done it! SK Gaming have destroyed Vitality!
GG, easy.
DX Maddie flashes the wall, Mercer follows, so does Neon, knocked up into the air by the Fisher, and Neon gets another.
Advantage that they can gain, Marwing no flash, but Markoon has his as he's looking towards the mid lane.
Push through it, cleanse through it.
Excel have got his number.
We're here to win. Push through it, cleanse through it.
And he's going to bring down the wall.
How the hell do people have this hair in the 80s?
Push through it, cleanse through it. No limits you
There's 2 already. That's 3. That's 4. That's 4.
just take it. You're on the edge of
Will have his painter.
the competition. Rise above the pain.
Not back.
Your conviction. We're here to win. We're here to win the game. Push through it, cleanse through it.
Looking for the damage, doesn't get it.
Oh! Going in your mouth, by the way. There's so much of this wig that it's just got. I'm going to be eating hair